Hi, welcome to Chess 24/7, and you encounter another online chess stream. And in this video, we'll be solving a couple of chess puzzles. And with that said, let's get started. So, by the way, I'm on chesspuzzle.net, which I believe is a little better in terms of chess puzzles because it provides chess puzzles from real GM games, which is not right now available on Lichess. So that's the reason I like solving puzzles over here. With that said, let's get started. So it's white to draw. Okay. One sec, let me just make some adjustments. Yeah. Now yeah, by the way, these puzzles are at times real hard, so I might take a little longer to solve them. So yeah, anyways, with that said, let's get started. So it's white to draw the game. Let's just say if I promote my d7 pawn to a queen, but then it will be taken away by the bishop on a5. What if I take on a5 with my rook and then promote to a queen? Rook takes a5, rook takes f1, check, king g2, and then what? I'm threatening to promote, and also I'm threatening the rook and the knight. That looks pretty interesting. But if I take on rook takes a5, I'm not really sure if that will be the correct way because I have to draw the game. So definitely taking on a5 would not lead to a draw. Maybe king h2 is also a good move, but rook a5 is pretty tempting. I'll go for rook a5. Yeah, and now it's threatening. No, now I can play bishop g2. Okay, there we go. It's a draw now. Although I did not take rook b2 into consideration. Yeah, so we have solved this puzzle correctly. So now let's move on to our next puzzle. In fact, let me make after solving this puzzle, I'll make some changes to my OBS screen. I believe that will be better. So anyway, we have white to regain material. So let me look at the pawns first. Black has 5 pawns, white has 4 pawns. So we are down by a pawn. We both have a rook, we both have 2 minor pieces, so we somehow have to grab a pawn or maybe win some material basically. Knight e5 looks pretty interesting, hitting the queen, but I cannot play right now because my knight is pinned. What about bishop a3 hitting the rook? The rook moves to protect the bishop to e6. Bishop takes e7, rook takes e7, and then okay. And then if I play rook c1, knight c4 could be played. Bishop a3, rook e6, rook c1 check, knight c4. And this game is from a GM's game, so I guess we have to think a little over here. But what about rook a6? Rook a6 is also a good move here, hitting the knight twice. Knight c4, rook takes d6, bishop takes d6. No, it doesn't work. But I also have idea of bishop d2 followed by bishop a5. That could be an idea, but bishop d2, knight c4. Bishop a5 check, and yeah, I think we have to somehow win, I believe, the b7 pawn, because that's a clear weakness in black's camp. So now I have three candidate moves, to be honest. One is rook a6, another one is bishop d2, the third one is bishop a3. Let's have a look at bishop a3, which looks pretty tempting, hitting the rook and the bishop. So bishop a3, the rook can go to, the rook has to go to e6, and then what? Let's say I take on e6, e7, rook takes e7, rook c1, knight c4. And then maybe I can play queen c5 check. I'll be back in a while, 1 second. yeah, so queen c5, the rook is on e7. So let's say king d7, and then what? I and then I can win the pawn on d5. Hmm. So let me just see if this works. My other move is rook a6, but it doesn't really work because I do hit the knight twice, but then the knight can go to c4, c8. I think I'm gonna go with bishop a3. Okay, that's not the right move. Yeah, so let me just first of all make a couple of changes to my OBS screen. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Uh, let's go to our next puzzle. Hmm. It's By the way, I did not look at the solution to our previous problem. Let's just have a look at that as well. Okay, so I have to let me make a dummy move once again. This time let me make a different move. Let's say if I play bishop rook a6. Okay, that's not the correct move. So the solution to the puzzle is bishop d2, which was one of my candidate moves. Yeah. Okay. So it's white to win. My bishop is pinned. But this knight is also pinned in a way, you see. However, I am not sure if I can take advantage of the knight on d6 at the moment. Although queen e7. What about queen e7? But even if that goes, I won't be able to win because the knight on d6 controls c8 and e8. So queen e7 really doesn't do the trick. Rook c8, rook takes c8, queen takes d6, but then I'm not sure because I'll be losing the exchange here. Rook takes b7 wins a pawn, and the knight cannot move because queen takes c8 is mate. Now what else can we go for? Rook takes b7 is what's coming to my mind, but it really does not achieve anything because there's a winning attack, I believe, for white. At least the website says so. I'm thinking if queen e7, rook takes e7, c8 is controlled. If c8 was not controlled, rook queen e7 followed by queen rook d7 was my idea, but c8 is controlled by the knight. I also am thinking about king g2. King g2, queen d5. Yeah. So that's not the right way to go. Now what else? My bishop is pinned. But I'm thinking about moving my rook to c3 and then to d3. That's my idea. Rook c3 and then to d3 could be an idea. Rook c3 followed by rook d3. But if rook c3, is there some way black can capitalize? Now rook c3 is my candidate move and my only candidate move, I believe, at the moment. The rook cannot leave the last rank. No, but let me see. Rook c3, rook e8, rook e1, queen. Oh, okay. Then I'll play rook c8, check, knight takes, I take, and then it's mate. If rook comes back, yeah. So I think that looks interesting. I'm going to go for rook c3. Yeah. And now rook d3 should work. Now I think I'll take with my rook. Okay, let's say if I take with my rook takes d6, rook e1, queen e1 check, queen d1 d8 check, king g7. Oh yeah, then I can play queen f6. Yeah, so it works. Good. That's the correct move order. Let's move on to our next puzzle. So it's white to win. So my king is under attack. There's a lot of pressure on g2. So I guess I have to constantly keep my opponent in check. And my rook on c1 is doing a good job cutting the king from c file. My bishop is pretty strong. Knight f6 comes to my mind because that would be almost mate, but then the king can take. on e7, and then I have some discoveries. But also, what about queen takes g7? I think that will not be the right move because we have a winning attack here. So knight f6 comes to my mind, and also queen g7 is a pretty obvious move. So knight f6 check, king takes c7 is the only move. And then where do I put my knight? Also I have this rook check available with me, so that's what I have to take care of. Maybe rook c7 is not the right way, but let's see. Knight f6 check, king takes c7. Yeah, let me just make those arrows. King takes e7, and then knight f8 check. That's a double check, so the king has to move, and the king has two squares available, king d8 or king f8. Let's say king f8, then rook c8 check, king takes, or that will be mate. Yeah, so but if king, yeah, I think that works. I'll go with knight f6 check. Yeah, and now knight f8 should work. Yeah, and now rook c1 should work. Rook c8, my bad. Yeah, there we go. Also queen e8 should work, I believe. Let's have a look at the solution wherein we can analyze. Do we have rook c8, knight g8, queen? Yeah, after this, okay, now there are a couple of ways. Rook f8, rook c8 is made. Let me see if queen e8 is also a mate, I believe. Queen d8, yeah, queen d8 is also a mate. Let's go to our next puzzle. Black to draw. Hello. So we have to play a draw here with black pieces. So first of all, whenever I see a puzzle where we have to make a draw, the first question is, why should we make a draw? Because I mean, okay, now the first threat is queen takes g6 check. But then my queen is protected. Also my queen is hit, by the way, so my queen is hit. So let's say, but I can save my queen. Also I have to keep an eye on g6, so that way queen f7, but then rook takes f2, queen takes f2, queen takes a g6 check. King h8, queen h6, king g8, and then bishop e6 check. Rook f7. I mean, I'm not really sure if I have to, I guess, analyze this, but let's look for how we can draw. but I'm not really sure how what's the threat here, but we'll just assume that there is a threat. Hmm. So let's have a look at our candidate moves. To make a draw, we have to make some repetition. So knight takes f1, bishop takes e8, knight g2 check, forking the king and the queen, pawn takes g3. My bishop is in way, otherwise rook f1 could have been devastating, but yeah, so this doesn't work. So if knight takes f1 doesn't work, what can we go for? What about bishop g3? I'm not really sure if bishop g3 achieves something. So but what about rook g4, counter attacking my opponent's queen? But then he can take my rook, right? And if I take with either of the pawns, I'll lose my queen, and then that will be, I'll be down the trade. So rook f4 doesn't work. So what can we play here? It's pretty tough, although I mean, also this game is from a GM between two GMs, rated 2600 and 2500. So obviously this will not be that easy. But why can't I see the move? Knight f1 comes to my mind. It doesn't work because bishop takes d8, knight g3 check, pawn takes, and then my pawn is hit here. So I don't know if that's the right way. What about bishop? Queen f7, rook takes f2 would come, right? Rook takes f2, queen takes f2, and then queen g6 check. I go to, let's say, I mean, I only have one square available. King h8. I think this might be a better move. Yeah, let's see. Queen f7, rook takes f2, queen takes f2, queen g6 check, king h8, queen h6, king g8, bishop e6, then I have to play rook f7, queen g5 check, king h8 back. Yeah, maybe that might sound like a draw, so I'll go with queen f7. But queen f7, knight e7 check. I did not account knight e7, but then I can simply take it, or can I? Yeah, then I can take, because my queen will be there to protect the 7th rank, I guess. Yeah, that is not the right move. Let's have a look at the solution. Queen d7. Oh my goodness, I just did not see that the bishop was hanging. That was such a obvious move. Why did I not see that? How could I miss that? It's white to win. Okay, I mean, what can I say about that? That was such a, I mean, it's just pure blunder, nothing else. Anyway, let's move on to our next puzzle. F6 come to my mind, but followed by f7 and f8, but let's think it over, because my d6 pawn, d4 pawn is hanging. Also my queen is pinned by this knight on e3. Rook h3 could be played, rook h3 could be played, but then rook f3, and then if queen check or rook check, I can go up. Also knight takes f5 might be an idea, because not right away, but could be. But f6 comes to my mind. f6, knight e6, f7. I mean, yeah, the knight e6 is blunder, because I can take, but then my opponent also can take the knight. So yeah, let's see. f6 is a candidate move. Also rook h3, but the problem is this d3 pawn. The moment d4 falls, this entire diagonal is already weak, and it will become weak even further. And because my king is on g2, this looks a little scary. Also, I have some ideas of rook h2 and rook f2 and rook g2, but that's far-fetched at this moment. I'm thinking about f6 here. f6, knight e6 takes, check, takes on d. Okay, let's see. f6, knight e6, queen takes e6, queen takes d3, check. I move my king to h1. Queen e2. I'm not sure if I can win somehow that way. Queen h7 doesn't work at all. This might look tempting, but in no way it can work, because I don't have enough resources and time to attack my opponent's king on h7. But f6 is an idea. Also, what about rook d1? But that, it's not winning at all, right? It's just defending the position. Also, I'm down by a full piece here, so obviously exchanging doesn't make sense. So f6 should be the move, I believe, but queen e6, I mean knight e6, f7. And also the knights are there, so it's pretty tricky. But feel like, okay, let me see if rook f2 is also a candidate move, but f6 is so tempting. I think I'll go for f6 here. I hope I'm not missing something out here. f6 should be, yeah, it is the correct move. Okay, now my knight is pinned. I can take check. Now I guess it's pretty easy. 1 second. Now the next move is pretty easy. Taking on g7. King takes. And then queen g3 should be the way to continue here. Also knight f5 is a threat. I mean I cannot move the knight at the moment, but what about f7? Does it work? No, the knight can move, but the moment knight moves I can promote to a queen, right? f7, 96. I take, he takes, and then this diagonal is already weak, so queen e6 check. The king has to go to h8. Yeah, and then queen f6 could be an idea, but f7 is definitely a move to consider. Also rook a3 is coming anytime. So yeah, taking on g7, king takes, queen f5, I mean queen d7 check, king h8, and then I don't have anything. I can win the rook on a4, but he can take with a check, and then he has a perpetual. So let me see. Takes, queen check, and the king, let's say he goes to h8 back. He can go to h6, but let's see, he goes to h8, and then what? I can win the rook on a4, and then he would take on d3 check, king h1, queen e4 check, and yeah, he has a perpetual. So yeah, but let's see. Pawn takes on g7 check, king takes, queen g3 check, king, let's see, king h8 back. Yeah, I think f7 should be the right move in this situation. Then because if f7, and then if I'm able to take on so let's see, if f7, how can black respond? Let's see. Yeah, I think f7, how can black respond? If 96 takes on g8 check, king takes, queen takes e6 check, king h8, and then I have something going on here. But let's say f7, if the other knight, the f8 knight moves to yeah, but then I can just simply promote to a queen, right? So f7 should be the move. Yeah, and then it should be taking on. So again, yeah, I think this should be easy. This should be now taking on g8, and then I can bring my queen, c8, Oh, there's a winning move, better move. Okay, maybe this one then. Yeah. And then rook f7 check is pretty obvious because it covers h6 then, right? But queen f7, king h8, then queen g8 is made. So king h6, I think, yeah, f7. And the king then can go to, yeah, they should be winning here. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Yeah. Let's go to our next puzzle for the stream. Oh, I have a viewer. Hi Smith. I'm sorry, which puzzle are you referring to? G7. I'm so sorry, I didn't see. Normally there are no people on my stream. So I mean, there used to be, but then people just left off. So yeah, if you're listening to me, could you refer to me which particular puzzle you were referring to, and then maybe we can go back. So yeah, it's white to play. Okay, it's white to win. Okay, so you're saying to last one. Let's go to the last puzzle, and let's have a look at the solution. I mean, okay, let's see. So this takes here with my queen, check, and this. Oh my bad, I again made the same wrong move. This, and then this. Now let's have a look at the solution, and now we can see what exactly you mean by G7. Okay, so at what point are you saying G7? Because I never played I never took on G7, I believe. Maybe you mean taking over here at this point of time on G7 on this move, but it really doesn't work, I believe, if this is the move you're referring to. Last one, f6, and then take the knight. Okay, so if I take the knight like this, king takes, and then what? Then what's the follow-up? Could you help me out with the follow-up? Because I did take I'm taking on G7 into consideration, but it doesn't work because if you look at, I mean, let's not even look at the computer, but there is not a good follow-up for white, I believe, to carry on the this idea. There is no mating attack, you see. I mean, what can you do? You have two checks available, queen g3 and queen d7. Queen d7 works, I mean, you can win the rook on a4. So like this, let's say the king goes back to h8, you can win, but then black has a perpetual checks available with them. Now if I could come back, he can continue like this. Yeah, but then black will be able to draw the game, you see. Oh, hi Chinmay, long time no see. Check with the knight. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Chinmay. Could you give me some context to it? Because we're solving puzzles, by the way, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, as I was saying, Smith, now black will be able to draw the game. So that's the reason taking on g7 doesn't work. I hope I answered your question. So yeah, let's move on to our next puzzle for the stream. And it's good to have viewers. And since we are solving puzzles, pinned. No, because the knight is pinned. I guess Chinmay got my point, right? I'm Smith. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. Chinmay, that's fine. I'm also, uh, I also play for fun. I'm also not a professional, so yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we have black to win. By the way, you two can contribute by writing down your moves, and then we can have a look at that. So we are playing with black pieces, and we have to win. Okay, so one obvious move that comes to my mind is queen c2 check. Although the queen on h5 protects d1, so it doesn't work. But by the way, we do have an extra piece. We have 4 pawns. My opponent has what, like 6 pawns, sort of equal in terms of points. Although my opponent is down by a point. So yeah, let's continue with the puzzle. Both the kings are exposed here, although I would say white's king is a little secure because he has at least 2 of his pawns around him, although they have moved from the second rank. But yeah, let's see. So queen c2 doesn't work because I cannot win the knight on the rook on d1. What else? Queen b2 check, and then the king has a lot of options, you see. Now queen f3 cannot be played. It is black to move, Smith. I think it's visible on the stream as well, you see. Is it not? By the way, it's black to move, if you don't know. So yeah, black to move. Uh, okay. What can I do? This game comes from, I guess, some unrated players, played in 1958. But anyway, the puzzle is pretty interesting. Now queen e3 comes to my mind, threatening a couple of checks, but then I guess white can go for queen g4 check. Okay, so if so what's the idea behind queen c2, Smith? I mean, what's the follow-up after queen c2? What do you want to achieve with queen c2 check? Because it was my choice, but I discarded it for a reason. Let's see if you can figure it out. Also, please, if you could share the follow-up to that move. What after queen c2? How would black react? That would be better for both of us to see what's the idea, right? Now I have this idea of rook f2 check, king takes f2, knight e4 check. That way I can bring my knight into attack. Okay. this might look a little interesting. I'm not sure though. Let's see. This is one of my candidate moves. My bad. A wrong arrow. Knight f2. I mean rook f2 check. King f2. Knight e4 check. And the king now then has three options: f1, g1 and e2. I guess e2 will be the least played in my opinion. Yeah, because it will be exposing the king further into the action. So yeah, after this the king is over on f2. Let's see if f1, then queen e3 check, and then what? Queen e3 check. If king f1, then queen f2 is mate, so f1 is not an option. If king g2, queen f2 check, and then if king h1, then knight g3 check. I win the queen, so that's not an option. So king h, so after, if king h1, queen e3 check, king h2, queen f2 check. Again h1 is not an option, so king h3, and then I can take on g3 checkmate. Yeah, so that I guess rook f2 is the right move, I believe. Rook f2 check, but what if he doesn't take? We'll also rook f2, king h, yeah, we will be looking at that, but let's have a look at king h3, rook f2 right away. So rook f2, king h3, and then maybe rook h2 check, forcing the king to accept our sacrifice. And after that, if king g4, king g4, and then what? Okay, yeah, so if king g4, and then we can take on g3 check with my queen, and that will be, and then the king will go to f5. I think if I can bring my king to f5, I think then I'll be having a lot of mating ideas. So I'm not going that deep, but let's, yeah, maybe later on I can look at king after what happens after king f5. But then queen f4 check, and that will be it. Sure. Yeah, I mean, but I hope you saw if we play rook f2 and the king doesn't take our sacrifice and he moves to h3, it will be mate. So h3 is not an idea, but yeah, so we were on, I think rook f2 is definitely our move. Rook f2. Yeah, so let's go for rook f2. But what about takes, knight check? Again, king h2 doesn't work because we take on g3 check. And then I think we can bring in more. I mean, the knight is there, so I think it will be a close call. So I'm going with knight rook f2. Let's see if that's the correct move. That is the correct move. Good. Let's go with our knight now. King e2. I expected him not to play this move, but then I can take the pawn on g3, and I can win the queen now. So this should be it. Yep. That's the correct move. So let's move on to our final puzzle of the stream. I hope we can win this one as well. So it's black to play and we have to win material. So let's see, we have 3 pawns. Okay, we are down by a full piece. This rook is attacked. My rook is also attacked. I think king takes c7, queen takes g7, and then queen c1 check, king g2. Yeah, it doesn't work any like that. But what about rook g5 attacking the queen, and then I can take the rook rook g5, queen f7, rook c7, king c7. Yeah. What else? Queen e8, king d7. But then okay, the moment I play king d7, queen f8 will come. So yeah, rook g5, queen f7, king c7, queen e8, king c7. Maybe then he can get a perpetual check. But let's say if rook g5, queen f7, king c7, queen e8. I cannot go to d6 because queen f8 wins the queen. Oh, okay. No issues, Smith. I think it's a matter of practice. I mean, I also was not able to understand it initially. I'll try to slow down if that's the issue. But the thing is, we have to go a little deep while solving these puzzles. Let's say 2 to 3 or maybe 4 moves. Also, I'm not a pro at this thing, but I try to force myself to think as much as I can. But I will keep in mind that I have to go slow, a little slow. By the way, you can follow me on Lichess. I'll put my username over here. Let me just copy it. Okay, it's a little difficult for me to type, that's why. Let me see, what's it? Yeah, you can follow me on Lichess. At this particular username, and maybe we can play a couple of games if you want. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, queen e8, my king is on c7, king c7, and then what? You can play you can go for a perpetual. I believe perpetual checks could be played. I mean, I feel like playing rook g5 here because there's no other way to go for it, at least in my opinion. I also don't have any other candidate moves coming to my mind. This should be it, I believe. Yeah, king c7. uh so I did see up till king c7, and I did not see queen s7. So let's see how we can continue now. uh Queen b1. My bad. King b1. uh Queen b1. Queen e8, check. Could be an idea. Queen b8, queen e8, check. My bad. King e8, queen b8, queen e8, check. So I mean, I cannot intervene the check with my queen, so I have to move the king. Again, d6 doesn't work because of queen f8. So king c7, we already know. Queen e8. What about king d8? King d8, bishop b7, bishop b6, my bad. King d8, bishop d7. Okay, now that is a blunder if I play king d8, because then king c8 and queen c7 will be checkmate. So yeah, d8 is not an option. D6 is not an option. We already know about c7. So c8 and b8 are two options. If I play c8, let's say, yeah, and he plays bishop b6, but then I can just go for this check, and then I can, yeah, have a control on c7. But that will be threatening, so I will not be comfortable going for c8 maybe. What about king b8? King b8, and the queen can play king e8, let's say. Queen e8, yeah. And then what? We come back to c2, c7. Okay, c8 looks interesting, but is it going to be a perpetual? I mean, I can already go for a perpetual with king c7, but I'm not sure if perpetual is the right way. King c7, let's say king c7, bishop b6. Okay, king, and then queen c1 takes care of c7. King goes to h2. King c6, queen c6. I'll try to exchange. Yeah. I'll go for. I might lose this puzzle even after coming so close, because c8. I have three candidate moves there. C8, queen e8, check. It will be perpetual anyway. I'm not sure how to proceed further. All three moves looks good, because I guess it's going to be a perpetual. Oh no, if king c7 is not a good option, king c6, because queen takes, it checks. So I'll go with the I'll go with the I'll go with b8 here. Yeah, that's not the right move. Let's have a look at the solution now. Close but no cigar. Queen f7, check. King c6. C6, what about if I take here? Oh my goodness, I could then block it like this. My bad. But what's wrong with the, let's have a look at after this. Yeah, queen e6, check. Oh my bad, queen f7. What's wrong with the king b8? Queen e8. King c7, queen f7. No, but what about queen f7, king c6? Now what? Now how do we continue? Queen e8, king c7. Yeah, again it's going to be a perpetual, I believe. I'm not sure if why king b8 was not the right option. Okay, anyway, I think this will be it for the stream. I hope you all like this stream, and if you then please subscribe to the channel and like this stream. And I do this stream regarding chess every Saturday and Sunday. So see you in my next video. I think we do have a comment. Smith, king b8 is going for a draw. Exactly, that was my point. King b8 will be a draw, but the computer says king c6 is a better move, so we have to live with that, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. See you tomorrow. Till then, take care. Tata, goodbye.